AFP MMA presents Beyond the Cage Door podcast. Real people, real passion, real fights. With your host, Ryan James.
Sir, how's it going, buddy?
Going good, man.
Sweet. Thanks for coming on today,
Yeah, I
man.
appreciate you guys having me for real.
Oh, definitely, man. This is this is cool. So what I found out about you, just from doing some research, and and they let me know that you were a fan favorite. Am I right about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They had I think from American Fight Promotions 101, 102, and 103, they took all the fighters and kind of just did a vote down to the last two.
Okay, that's dope. Like, is this your? How many times have you fought for AFP?
So I've only fought once for AFP.
Okay.
My first fight was for BCM up in Geneva, and then my second one was for OCL in Newark.
Got it. All right. So one of the main things I seen about what you're fighting in AFP compared to some of the other things I did research on. How do you feel about the AFP? Like, that MMA competition. How did you rate that compared to like the BCM and other things?
Yeah, man. AFP, it was really, really organized. Right off the get, I thought all of the fighters were taken care of as far as um, what time we had to be there for weigh-ins, what time we had to be there for fighter meetings. Everything from top to bottom, from the first fight to the main event, I thought it was really organized. You know, the matchmakers were running back and forth nonstop to get them, two fights ahead to make sure that they were ready. And um, compared to the other ones, I think it was, the other ones were organized. I think my first fight I took on short notice, so I was kind of just jumping in and didn't really know what to expect or what to look for. But uh, the more you're around, you pick up on the business aspect of it instead of just the fighting
Right.
aspect. And
Right.
yeah, it really organized. David Yaney and all them did a great job.
Nice. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, Chance. Just kind of like your background, where you're from, when did you start getting into MMA, and a little bit about that.
Okay, so um, I'm from Logan, Ohio. It's like the Hocking Hills area. We're in between Athens and Lancaster, or like
I
Nelsonville.
love that area.
Yeah, man, it's
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah,
I will say it's a lost man where you've blown up. Everyone knows about us now. So,
oh yeah. Everybody loves
um,
coming down there.
yeah, man, the cave, Old Man's Cave's just it's like it's the biggest hit. So,
Right.
um, I kind of started. I don't know, man. I used to joke around all the time about I was 18-2 and like amateur bar fights and stuff. Um, so I kind of always joked around about hopping in the MMA scene, and I'd always wrestle around with my buddies. Growing up, they all wrestled, and I played basketball. Going back now, I wish I would have took advantage of that wrestling aspect.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I just kind of grew up. There's not really a whole lot to do around Logan, so it was wrestle around and fight with your buddies. And
I understand that.
yeah, I kind of wanted. Uh, I knew there was a gym down here in Logan. It's called One Academy Logan. So we've got like some satellites. Our HQ's in Athens. We've got one in Jackson. Got one in Gallia. Got one in Lancaster. Um, yeah, I just kind of went down just to stay active. The older I get, I wanted to stay limber, stay in shape, and I went down there just to get into jiu-jitsu. start learning some self defense, and it kind of just transformed into fighting.
So, what's some of the things that you go through far as your preparation? I mean, give me your regimen for how you train.
So usually when I get in a camp, um, I try to, I try to be in the gym as most as possible, whether I'm drilling, whether I'm rolling or teaching. Mental reps are better than no reps, so it's nice to get in the gyms and see how other people are working positions and see where they go, how it works or how it doesn't work for them. So a lot of my training is like right now as an amateur, I'm trying to just keep my cardio base. I feel if you've got good cardio, you pick up on the little things in the experience of the fights. I try to cut down maybe my diet a little bit. I try to keep my weight at a reasonable weight. That way, it's not like too hard. I start breaking my back in a camper, but
Right, right, right.
yeah, tightening up all the little things. In camp, each camp's been different. My first, like I said, my first one was kind of short notice, so it was just to shake them cobwebs off and kind of get an understanding of what it felt like to get in a cage and uh, get ready to handle business. And my second and third one, I kind of dialed in on my nutrition a little bit.
Okay,
Uh, Felt, after that second fight, I moved up a weight class, and I really learned a lesson in cardio then. So I told my coaches and my buddies, I said if and when I ever get beat again, it won't be because the other guy's better than me, or it'll be because the other guy's better than me, not because his cardio was better. So
right, right.
I
Yeah,
try to keep as best as I can.
definitely. And going off of that, I want to ask you, do you see yourself settling at a lightweight or welterweight long term?
So I feel good at 155.
Okay.
Um, Maybe when I get down the road and a little bit more professionalism, a little bit more understanding, I can hire, a nutritionist or something, and I wouldn't even mind running down to 145, down the road if I could do it healthy and uh, not have to deplete myself too much.
Right, right. Definitely
Yeah.
understandable. So what's next? Because I know you're not fighting in Cleveland coming up on December 6th, but what's next for you?
Yeah, so I'm hoping in January, um, you know, I got some stuff coming up. We've all got family things aside of, our hobbies that we do. So I got some things I got to get tightened up and, I want to get back to consistent. I've kind of been here hit or miss in the gym.
Okay.
So I want to get back to that consistency and that grit of what it feels like to be in a camp instead of just being a drilling partner or just to go in and spar and critique those little things that really mean the most when you get into a camp.
Right. Now, my next question for you is outside of MMA, what does Chance do with his in his daytime, in his day life?
So aside from my day job, um, man, I just like to compete. I don't care if me and you are playing tic tac toe in the dirt. You know, I want to win.
Yeah.
I want to compete. I just want to. I just like to be active. So there's basketball leagues around here.
Mhm.
Um, I try to hop in those. When the weather's right, I like to go golfing. Aside from my family, I've got a 1-year-old girl. So
Okay. And
yeah,
so I was about to go there next. So you got a 1 year old. So
yeah.
tell me about where that motivation. What does that 1 year old do for you when you're in that cage? What what energy does she give you?
Man, so it's weird because when I first started jujitsu, it was like probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago.
Got it.
Um, I didn't have a kid, I didn't have all these responsibilities. So it was just something that I was like, yeah, let's waste some time. Let's go down here. Let's get a good workout, learn some self defense, train here and there. And then, man, when I had a kid, it flipped the script. Everything was more controlled as far as like training, a schedule.
Hmm.
Um, I can take her now to the gym and she can run around
Got
and
it.
she can be active.
Uh huh.
So being in there and watching her like sit and watch or run around and kind of pick up on things. It's really motivating,
No,
and no matter how far the game takes me, uh, I have to go back to she does need her dad, so it's like on the contrary side, it's like it's tough knowing that the consequences or
yeah,
what the possibilities are when you have that 1 year old. So it makes everything I think a little bit more calculated, a little bit more uh, risky, I guess, but no risk,
you,
no reward.
yeah, definitely think about it more.
Yeah, yeah.
You think about your actions and what you're doing.
And I want to stay in it, as long as I can. And I'm fortunate enough that I'm in good health, and my fiance loves it. Uh, she supports me, 100%. Like I said, my daughter loves to go to the gym, and she loves to wrestle downstairs, and she likes to hit the bag and hit mitts and like mess around. So it's nice that she's kind of being brought into that atmosphere. And if she grows up and doesn't want to do it down the road, then she's going to train and learn how to defend herself, but she don't have to go out and do all that, fighting and that
Nice.
silly stuff.
I feel it, man. That's great to hear, man. You know what, Chance? Much success on everything you're doing. Thanks for coming on this podcast today. And you know what? If you want to hang out, I got some more guys that's about to pull up. That's going to be talking about the fight. You want to chill out and hang out with us?
Okay.
All right, sweet man.
Yeah, I'll hang out. I'll kick it for a
I
minute.
got Jordon Tague. He's about to jump on now.
You guys are for the fights this coming weekend or December 6th?
Yeah, I think Jordan. Yep.
Nice.
What's going on, Jordan? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's going on, Brad?
Not much. How's it going?
Pretty good. I got Chance in here with us too. Chance isn't fighting, but he was a fan favorite for AFP, and he's gonna hang out with us, and we're gonna have some good conversation, man.
Awesome. Yeah,
What's
sounds
up,
good.
man?
How's it going?
Good, man.
Sweet, sweet. So Jordan, as I'm waiting on actually as I'm waiting on TJ Regal to jump on, let's talk about a little bit about yourself, because what I've been kind of talking about with Chance is a little bit about when he started fighting, and I'm gonna start off the same thing with you. As just give me a little bit about your background, where you're from, when you started MMA, and go from there.
So I'm from Florida originally. I grew up in a suburb of Orlando called Winter Springs, Florida. And that's kind of where my combat sports journey began. I started wrestling in high school. Wrestled all throughout high school, ended up going to college for wrestling as well. Ended up coming up here to Cleveland to wrestle at Notre Dame College. And so, I had been wrestling, for the last 8, 9 years. And then I turned to coaching wrestling. And once I started coaching, I just, got the itch to start competing again. And that's kind of where my MMA training began. I found the Rev. My teammate Alonzo Turner. I had wrestled with him in college, so he told me about the gym. He was like, "Hey, come up, try it out." So I did, and kind of fell in love all over again. So um, that's kind of where it all began. And now here I am.
So wrestling, going from wrestling to MMA, what tell me about that style. Like, is it similar? Is the discipline the same, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think the discipline is the same. I think the discipline has definitely carried over in my work ethic and in my just my overall training methods. Obviously, there was a learning curve with things like jujitsu and things like striking, but just having the baseline of having wrestling and knowing how to work hard and knowing how to put my head to the grindstone and grind things out and get better every day. Really helped me kind of transition into the sport of MMA. So I'm grateful to have the wrestling background that I have.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your background and when it comes to the AFP fighting promotion. So is this your
Um,
first fight with AFP or?
yeah. So this is my first fight with AFP. My background, I started fighting in 2022. So I had a amateur career. I was 5-1 as an amateur. Um, I turned pro last November, so it's been a little bit over a year now. Since then, I'm 3-1 as a pro. So this is my fifth pro fight, and now I'm fighting for AFP. So I'm really excited to just have a new opportunity and another opportunity to fight for a great promotion.
Nice. So, what have you heard about AFP coming into it, being a new fighter for it? I know I asked Chance because he's fought for them before, but I want to ask you, what have you heard about AFP so far? Just they're new, they've blown up like came out of nowhere. But what do you think?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. When I first noticed that they were coming on the scene, I saw that they were just kind of throwing everything at it and kind of got big quick and like kind of blew up. Again, my teammate Alonzo Turner, a couple fights ago, he fought for a title, the welterweight title, I believe, for AFP. So I know a little bit about it. I know some people that have fought for them, and it seems like a great promotion, and I'm just excited to experience it.
Sweet, sweet. So, Jordan, outside of MMA fighting, what do you do?
So I work in construction. I work for a carpentry company. So that's kind of what I do day to day, and I'm also a wrestling coach up here in Cleveland. I coach for Notre Dame Cathedral Latin School. I coach for their high school. So yeah, my time's kind of taken up by those two things, and on top of training. Outside of that, just hanging out, working
Yeah.
out.
Do the kids know you do MMA?
Yes, they do. So it's
What
always
do
a fun conversation. They're always like, "Oh, coach, I'm gonna beat you up, this and that. We should spar." And I'm like, "All right, come on."
what keeps Jordan going, pushing towards the goal in MMA, the championships, the just really pursuing this dream of being a champion in the MMA world? What keeps you going?
um, I don't know. It's a good question. I have that competitive drive in me. I feel like in the sport of wrestling, there were a lot of things that I was close to achieving that I didn't necessarily achieve. I was a state runner-up in high school. Always wanted to be a state champion, and never quite, realized that goal. In college, I was a national qualifier. Always wanted to be a national champion. Never quite realized that goal. So it's I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder from my history in wrestling, and
Nice,
it's just trying to be the best version of myself every day and get to the highest point in this sport that I can.
nice. So your opponent, TJ Regal, what do you know about him coming into this fight?
I know he's a wrestler as well. I know he wrestled at Ohio State, so he's got the wrestling pedigree. I'm sure similar background. I'm sure he's a grinder as well. I know how a wrestler's mindset is, and so it's not going to be anything easy for me for him either. It's going to be a gritty fight. So other than that, it's kind of like all I really know about him. I just try to focus a little bit on myself and make sure I'm the best version of myself. Not focus too much on my opponent, but I do um, recognize his pedigree and what he's bringing to the table as well. So I'm just excited for this matchup.
Nice. Chance, have you seen any of Jordan's fights or any of these competitors in this next event?
I have not. I've heard about both of them. Um, I haven't really caught up on too much fights.
Uh huh. Yeah. It's just looking at it from a perspective of like I've been to all the AFP events since Dave got started. Um, Wonderful guy, first of all. Like the whole thing, he cares so much genuine about the fighters, about making sure you guys get that big just due, and it's some great fights, man. It's just the fights I've seen. I think the last one we were in Columbus, we the knockouts are just I like the knockouts. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a sucker for them. When they like we like the quick knockouts, and but we also we it looks like Jordan, you and TJ are both with your wrestling background. That's going to be different.
Hmm.
That's going to be different. I don't expect a knockdown, but maybe I do. But I'm excited. I will be there. To check you guys out. Um, I think my last question I got for you, Jordan, is you're 3-1 with your pro record. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
Um, so what's your vision for climbing the lightweight rankings in the Midwest?
So my vision is just to stay active and continue winning as much as possible. I'm coming off of a win just over a month ago. I fought for Ohio Combat League in October 18th. Um, I went in there, got the finish. So I wanted to finish this year strong, get another win under my belt, and then next year fight as much as possible, get 4 or 5 fights, and my goal at the end of next year is to end up like 10-1, and see where that takes me. Whatever opportunities arise, I'm going to take them, and just kind of the sky's the limit, and keep going.
Right. Chance, I want to ask you about your submission win at AFP 103. How did that shape your confidence?
Yeah, man. So that the second fight, I wrestled a Kevon Thomas. Well, he wrestled at Perrysburg. I should have done my research. Perrysburg's a phenomenal wrestling school, and me moving up a weight class, like I said, I should have done my homework on him and kind of prepared for that. But he held me down. He basically, his positioning, his weight distribution was just tier one, and I took a lot out of that fight into this fight and worked a lot of my game. So that first round when I was in there, I knew he wrestled. He wrestled at St. Paris Graham, so it was just back to back 2 high-level wrestling
Mhm.
schools. And that whole camp, I had to work and work and work off my back and work on takedown defense. And you know it was nice to see a lot of that work that I was doing during camp be able to pay off in such a big way.
Right.
And I never felt like I was at a true disadvantage the first round. Like I said, his pressure was relentless, so it was kind of just a waiting game, and just that one slip up's all you need.
Right. 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 Definitely, man. And I know that gave you a lot more confidence, and when it comes to the grappling and the wrestling type style by just studying that. It's great that you had that. So now that's part of your repertoire. You could go to it. You know what I mean? I like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't feel as I never felt necessarily uncomfortable on my back, but I definitely feel like I got a little bit more in my bag to be able to get a back take or threaten some more submissions, or throw a sweep in every now and again with that pressure.
Sure.
Um, like I said, man, it's a huge confidence booster going from that second fight when basically I was dominated on the ground. And there's two or three aspects to MMA, and the ground unfortunately is one of them. As it could be a full fight. So yeah, it was really nice to be able to see the training pay off.
What from both you guys? I'll ask both you guys. What's the what's the biggest lesson that you guys get, whether win or loss, when you come out of that ring? Like, what's the biggest lesson that you guys take from a win, or you take from a loss when it's all over? I'll start with two, Chance.
So man, I think the biggest lesson out of both of it is, before every fight, there's always those nerves and like that adrenaline. And before my last fight, I don't know why, but it was like I was trying to talk myself out of doing it. I was like
Right.
trying to find a reason not to go in there. But I think, man, the biggest thing you take out of wins and losses is the confidence and the humbleness. Everybody goes through these camps and they show up for weigh-ins, and they do everything like they're supposed to. that right there should earn the respect of, your opponent for just the hard work in the camp to be able to step in there in the first place. So I think like a humbleness of it is a huge lesson I think I've learned out of it.
That's a great way to put it. Jordan, how about you?
I'd have to agree. The confidence thing is a big thing. I've lost two fights in my MMA career, and both of those I wasn't feeling 100% confident going into them, and that definitely played a part into how I competed. And on the contrary to that, the fights that I've done really well, and I've felt very confident going into it. So that mental aspect that every fighter has to deal with right before the fight. There's so many nerves, so much anxiety that you have to deal with.
Right.
And it's hard. You don't know what's going to happen in the fight. You don't know how you're going to match up really until you're in there. You don't know if you're going to get tired. You don't know if you're going to get knocked out. So just having supreme confidence and just kind of blocking out those thoughts and just trusting in your training and everything that you've done up until that point is the biggest thing for me going into a fight. So
Nice, nice. So I would like to first of all just thank both of you guys for coming on, you know what I mean, and just sharing some of your things with the upcoming fight you got, Jordan, and Chance, just a little bit about your background being a fan favorite. Um, Much success to both of you. And Jordan, I'll be checking you out on Saturday, December 6th at Cleveland. So you're right at home in Cleveland, right?
yes, sir. Yep.
So you got a lot of people coming to check you out.
Yeah, I got a few people coming. I got some people coming up from Florida as well, some family. So I'm excited.
Nice, nice. Well, glad to see that, man. I'll be looking forward to your fight, man. Best of luck on that. Chance, same thing for you. Best of luck on that. Thank you guys for coming on AFP Beyond the Cage, and much success to both of you in your MMA endeavors. And I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing both of you, man. I appreciate it. All right, you
Thanks,
got
man.
it.
Good work and good luck.
All
Yeah,
right,
thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
no problem. Have a
Later.
good one, guys.
See ya.
What's going
Jesse,
on?
what's going on, my man?
Feeling good. Just finished training for the day.
I see it. I see it, man. I see it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see it. I see it. So, thanks. First of all, thanks for just coming right out of training, man. Jumping in here, man. I definitely appreciate it. Um, First, I would like to ask you a little bit about. Um, yep. I would like to talk to you a little bit about your upcoming fight.
Yes, sir.
Looks like you're fighting Robert Gidron.
Yep.
So, is this your first AFP event?
Correct.
Where have you fought before AFP?
I fought LFA. I fought Cage Fury. I was a title holder for King of the Cage. I fought in Dana White Contender Series, BCM, NAAFS. I've been around for a minute.
Nice, nice. So, what have you heard about AFP so far?
I know it's a good local promotion. I've met a few times the people that run it through some networking stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty upset that a couple years ago when AFP ran their first show, they ran it out of my hometown, and I didn't even get looked at. But
Exactly. So that means you were in Columbus.
so I am in Cleveland now. I'm originally from Toledo, the border of
Yeah.
Toledo and Michigan. So when they ran the Rossford card, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not even gonna get a call. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dave's going to like to hear about that. He's going, yeah, but I'm glad he got a hold of you now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, so as we get ready for AFP 104, man, tell me a little bit. So it looks like, let me make sure I'm right on this. Your pro record is 9-6.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so we talk a little bit about the Contender Series.
Yeah, when I
Um,
fought Kyle, yeah.
so what did you learn about that?
So
Like,
the whole thing about the Contender Series is crazy, and you don't tell the UFC no. So like, there's a lot of things going into it. I had originally got hurt. I had backed out of an LFA title fight. 3 weeks prior than that, I tore a muscle. I tore the head of my lat. And I was just starting to recruit from that, and then I get called to do this contender series fight against a guy from China, actually, out of Zhu Wang's camp.
Mhm.
And so I had trained as much as I can. I was doing most of a fight camp one-handed. It was a whole thing. And then 10 days out from the fight, Lu Wang gets hurt, or the guy gets hurt. I don't know his name. The guy from Zhu Wang's camp, and I'm like, oh no. So then 2 days later, I get told they found a replacement. I'm like, okay. They tell me his name. I know nothing about him, really, right? So then I go to the UFC, right? We're out there. I'm out a week early. They had me go out, yeah, a week early for that. I get there and I see my opponent, and I finally get film on my opponent, right? And I get to watch his contender series fight and the fight he had before that, because the contender series fight he had just beat Alex Jeffrey, which now currently one of the top contenders in Bellator. And
Right.
so I watched this fight, and I'm going like, man, this is nothing like anybody I have fought in the last probably 4 years. This is going to be kind of wicked. And I didn't really have a lot to go with it. But so we're like, you know what? Screw it. We're sticking to the plan.
Right.
So I get in there, and it didn't go to plan. That's basically how that goes, right? I couldn't hit him, and that kind of messed with my
Right.
brain. And then he caught me with a hook behind the ear, and I just feet went away. Everything's bad. If you watch the film on it, it's embarrassing, but I couldn't walk. So he hit him trying to grab him. I'm like this. I'm like, please, come here. Like, just if you would come to me, that'd be great,
Right.
And
It's coming this
yeah,
way.
so it was a bad day, but whatever. I did the best I could. I'd love another fucking shot,
Yeah.
I'm trying to work my way to it. But like I said,
Right.
you don't get to tell the UFC no, right? So
You
when I was
can't.
hurt, I couldn't tell them no. When they gave me an opponent that was 3 times better than the guy I was supposed to fight, I didn't get to say no. It is what it is.
But like I said, UFC come knocking, you got to answer that door. You
Correct.
know what I mean? Sweet. So tell me a little bit about the Hollywood.
So
Tell me.
so
I need to
so
know. I'm
I
looking at my
I
notes.
100% agree that a nickname should be given. You don't get to choose your name. A nickname is
Right.
given.
Right.
Right. As an amateur, I actually fought under 9. Well, no, they called me the law twice. So 8 different names. Everything. RoboCop, the Great Dane, Road Dog, because Jesse Road Dog James from WWF, like the protege, the everything, right?
Uh-huh.
And when I fought for my pro debut, I didn't have a name, right?
Okay.
But I did have the shittiest phone. I mean, like my flip phone was so old, you know what I mean? Like didn't have internet, nothing like that. So I won my pro debut. That'd have been 20, right in the beginning of 2014, and
Right.
I had sold this again. Why I'm mad about the Toledo thing, by the way. My first pro fight, I sold with $20 general admission tickets. I sold over $3,000 in tickets, right?
Wow.
So I had a lot of people, and I was bouncing at the time, and the bar that I bounced for sponsored me and the event. So like we had an after
Okay.
party to go to and everything like that. And my phone went off so much, my crappy phone, that it broke. Actually broke. So I'm handling business. I finally get back to the gym 2 days later, right? And I find
Yeah.
out that all my coaches and all my teammates have been trying to get a hold of me, and I didn't, nothing, right? So they go, oh, so Jesse wins his first pro fight. Now he's Hollywood. Too good for us. He's Hollywood. He's Hollywood. And so for the next year, that's all they called me was Hollywood. Hollywood. So I said, you know what? You're right. Let's lean into it. Hollywood all the way.
Let's go with it. Hollywood. I like that. So, do you do anything like? Do you kind of bounce off that name a little bit with your ring intro and stuff like that?
Yeah, I choose my music varies to how my mood is, my tone of camp goes, and everything like that. I mean, I've walked out to things like Billie Jean. I walked out to a Pump Up the Jam by the Technotronics when I was out in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, it kind of gets that way. Yeah, and I like to keep it. I like to keep it kind of loose and flashy before things are going on. So I would say yeah.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So, tell me a little bit about when it comes to your opponent, and it looks like you are fighting, like I said, Robert Gidron. What do
Yeah,
you know about him?
I know he's fought a lot of tough guys.
Yeah.
He's got 11 losses, but if you look at him, a good chunk of them are against, some top level guys for sure. I know his last fight was against Budka, and I watched that fight. I'm not going to weigh in on my thoughts on it, but I have heard a lot of people say that they're pretty sure he won that fight. So, that is what it is. But I think he's a game timer, like he shows up, he goes hard. and he's there for the brawl. I've seen him trade quite a bit.
Right. You just said it there for the brawl. So that means you're prepared for the brawl.
Correct.
Nice, nice. So how long has your career been, like, just period in years?
14 years. It'll be 15 in July.
15 years. So 15 years, and just, is it now just MMA, or have you been in different fighting styles?
I've done MMA and I've done a lot of jiu-jitsu, especially within the last 5 years. A ton of jiu-jitsu just because I'm trying to stay competing, and it's
Nice.
hard to find fights. So, if I don't compete, I start losing my edge, and never good. I've had that happen before for fights. So,
You just got to
keeping that
keep it
busy.
going.
Last year I couldn't find a fight, so I tried to get anything. I had 2 Muay Thai fights that fell out. So we've attempted to stretch to other things, but truthfully, it's just been MMA.
Nice. What does Jesse do beyond the ring? When you're not in the ring, what is Jesse doing?
I do a lot of things. Unfortunately, I work.
I know, right?
I work full time in software, so I work on
Okay.
computers. I play video games. I lift weights like crazy.
Yeah.
If my body wasn't so broken, I'd probably be a power lifter. And then the funnest one that a lot of my friends like to point out is I've been a game master for tabletop RPGs, aka I've been a dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons for the past 12 years. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
So
I do
you
a
have
bunch of
a
nerdy stuff.
computer edge.
Correct.
Nice. So, I bet you a lot of people, when they probably see you in the ring and stuff like that, and they have no idea that when you're not in there, you're somebody's IT tech.
Correct.
Nice, nice. So what keeps you going, just after 14 years? What keeps you going in the sport, just motivating you to keep going?
I love the sport, really. I've put so much time and effort and met so many people through it that I feel as though my journey still needs to continue in one way or the other, right? And when I made the decision to go pro, I set a goal for myself uh, that I had in my own mind of where I could be and where I would be satisfied to be done at, and I haven't reached that yet. So
You haven't reached it. You haven't reached that peak. You still got a lot more to go.
I think so.
I like that, man. I like that. Definitely. Jesse, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I'm looking forward to your event. I'll be down there to check you out and see what the Hollywood is all about.
Hollywood.
So what's your workout routine?
So my normal, without even being in fight camp, my normal routine is I work from about 9 to 6 ish. I train from 7 to usually about 9, and then I lift from 9 to 10, 10:15, and I do that 6 days a week. Well, that's not true. 5 days a week. Saturdays are longer days. So
Right.
if I wasn't in fight camp right now, I just finished on the mats. So I'd be going to hit a lift and cardio. So my Saturdays are like usually 4 or 5 hour days.
What's your diet consist of?
So I spent some time around the bodybuilding world. So I actually do it pretty close to a bodybuilder's diet
Okay.
with a little more carbs.
Nice, nice. Favorite food?
My favorite food? I'm gonna have to go with the whole genre of American style barbecues. Another quick tip for you: I studied culinary arts for 3 years. I was gonna be a chef until I saw how miserable everyone at executive chef position was. So I've done catering events. I've done everything else on my lonesome. And my favorite to make and favorite to eat: American style barbecue.
Nice, nice. Man, Jesse, it's been great talking to you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing your fight. Jesse Murray, Robert Gidron, AFP 104, December 6th, man.
Time to go to
Anything you
work.
want everybody to know, the fans to know?
Time to go to work. I'll make sure you see
Time to
it.
go to work. All right, man. Appreciate you, Jesse, for coming on, man. Take
Thank you
care.
guys. Have a good one.
Good luck. Yep. So, now, Kolby McDonald, I have a lot of stuff for you, like, because I've heard a lot, and I got a lot of stuff I want to cover with you today. First of all, thanks for coming on AFP Beyond the Cage.
Oh, it's
And
my pleasure.
oh yeah, thanks for just being a guest, man. I appreciate it. So, I got, I'm looking right here at my notes on you. Kolby the Christian McDonald. So let's first of all give me just some little bit of background about yourself, where you're from, when you started fighting.
I started fighting around 17. I'm from a small town, Middletown, Ohio, in between Cincinnati and Dayton. It's actually where Kayla Harrison is from.
Okay.
Just my brother was a fighter, and my mom made us all wrestle, and she just like made us all tough, and it just kind of like came natural.
Right, right. So this your amateur record is 4-0, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Undefeated. And you're in the featherweight division, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, when and it lets me know I'm looking at the Christian, the nickname the Christian. So tell me about how deep your faith runs to the point that you wanted to make sure it's implemented in your fighting name.
So I've always, every time, I don't consider myself very strong. I'm a weak, I'm a sinner. I'm just like every other man, you know what I
Right,
mean? But God gives me strength, and
right,
I see that in the cage. Like I'm just like a regular person in the gym, just like anyone else. But whenever I enter the cage, I feel like something else is, not as like become upon me, and I feel much stronger than I normally would. And obviously, like adrenaline goes into that. But yeah, so every time I win, or if I even if I were to lose, all glory be to God. You know what I mean? And like if you don't have faith, if when the hard times come, you still don't believe. So I just always leave it up to Him, and it works out pretty well for me. I chose the name The Christian. I'm actually around my gym. They call me the Roach because I'm hard to submit. They call me the Roach. I'm supposed to change it on Tapology according to my coach. I need to get around to that. But I prefer the Christian because I want everyone to know that I want to evangelize Christ, because I feel like that's what gives me strength, and I feel like that's really my purpose in fighting, is to show people how much Christ and God can do for your life.
right.
Because I was like a dumb kid. I was getting in trouble. I was breaking into places and
Mhm.
doing everything you shouldn't before I met God, and He changed my whole life around. I quit. I was, smoking weed,
Yeah.
doing all the dumb shit that, oh, excuse my language,
No, you're
doing
good.
all the dumb stuff that you shouldn't do, and I met God and became like uh, a stand up citizen, and like and I actually added to society. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. I like that. And people don't understand it's okay when you're in whether these sports or professions, you can bring God with you wherever. And you can let people know that He is with you. And when I seen that, and I really just kind of gravitated to it. I'm like, just having his faith with him in that ring, and letting everybody know about it. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So
Thank you.
what does your do you like, so your fight club that you're with, what do they like, do they support that heavily with your faith? And I mean, do they be like, don't be preaching to us, or or how do they feel?
So actually, funny enough, me and my buddy Jagle, he's one of the other fighters, go
Mhm.
to church together. Sometimes my boy Zach, he's another fighter.
Okay.
He'll come to the different church. We're all firm believers in Christ. We have another fighter coming up. His name's Dan Murray. But he's not like super religious. But we have a bunch of people. We have Muslims, Jewish, I'm trying, gosh dang it, I drew a blank when I'm trying to name other religions. But we have all different, like we're like a melting pot. So it's like uh I'm not going to like force I think my religion on you, but I
Right.
believe I believe, all Abrahamic religions, you know, we believe in God and there's a higher power. We all know it, and we derive strength from it. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
Oh
And
yeah,
my coach just wants me to perform well, and he knows that that's related to my performance. And you know, if that were to bother anybody, I would think that that was weird.
right. Definitely, definitely. So, getting into this fight, so it looks to me like you're going up against an AFP champion. Am I right? With
Yes, sir.
Trace Ricketts. How do you feel about? And this is your first pro fight, right? Is that right?
No, I think it's just a title fight. I think it's still
Okay.
an amateur
Okay.
title
You
fight.
feel the title fight. Gotcha. So, how are you feeling about this fight? Like, what do you think? I mean, far as what do you know about Trace, and what do you think about just going into this fight?
I studied him. He's a purple belt in jujitsu. He got like the fundamental boxing down or whatever. But someone's got to go. Someone got to win. You know what I mean? It's just another day in the office.
Just another day in
And
the
it,
office.
and you know, to get better, you got to fight good people. I don't know if I don't check the rankings all that often, but I
Mhm.
was ranked number one in Kentucky featherweight. I mean, I'm 4-0. He's 5-0. I think this is like beautiful matchmaking by the matchmakers.
Oh yeah. What do you think about AFP as a MMA fighting league?
I actually wasn't super aware of it. I had watched a few of their scenes,
Hmm.
but being able to perform for them is going to be awesome because I actually they have like you, they
Hmm.
have really high quality stuff. They got a lot going on that I didn't realize. They have it's actually really cool, and I can't wait for them to get to be one of the higher level regional promotions.
Oh yeah, they are. That's one of the things that Dave Yaney has, like, he sets the bar real high, from the fights to the podcast to the promotion and everything, to make sure you guys get everything you need. And I'm excited about this upcoming AFP 104. Uh, what keeps you, like, throughout your amateur career and going in your pro career, what keeps you every day just wanting to pursue this dream of MMA?
Um, I was training, and like training kept me out of doing other stuff like when I wasn't training I was going crazy. I can't deal with people like on like whenever someone, you know, like someone cuts you off in traffic, it would just frustrate me way more. But when I train, I no, it doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? I've already suffered and I've already got that. And then my mom, my sister, my fiance, they've all sacrificed a huge amount for me to train. And so, you know, I owe it to them. And one day I was just sitting there praying and, you know, like trying to give my life to God, and he was like, you're gonna be the baddest. And that day I went and asked Ruben, my coach, for a fight, and that was it. That was history. I just meet God halfway. I do all the work on the
Yeah,
physical and like the flesh side, and he just keeps my mind right. And I just, you know, try to push.
I like that, man. I like that. Kolby the Christian McDonald, man. You're going against Trace Ricketts, December 6th, AFP 104, Cleveland, Ohio, at the Neo Sports Plant. You got a lot of fans coming through.
I know my two best friends are gonna be coming through. My boy Jagel should be. I don't. I usually have my sister come to my bouts. I don't know if she's coming. My brother's coming to be in my corner this time. Um, I should have some people from the gym coming. I have a uh it's local, so it should be a good turnout.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to promote. I'm gonna promote it a lot more tonight. I haven't been promoting it enough. I've just been like, normally I'm on Instagram trying to build my brand, but I've
Mhm.
just been so locked in. I haven't had time to record or anything.
So my last thing I got for you, a little bit about your training. So featherweight. So what is your training consist of? Are you looking to get into maybe a different weight class, or do you think you're good at featherweight, or you ever try to think about bulking up?
My actually my last fight I gained like 20 pounds after the weigh-ins like in
Okay.
less than a week. So that was crazy. I was like didn't even know that was like physically possible. Um I think I'd be a small 155er right now, but I just keep getting bigger, so maybe my coaches teased the idea of 135.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm a pretty good sized 145er. I li-
Uh-huh.
I like I like my chances. I and for right now for amateur, I'm definitely gonna stay at 145. Maybe I go 135 at pro. I feel strong though. I don't feel
Right.
like anyone uh would be there'd be like a huge size discrepancy. I've went with pros and stuff obviously,
Okay.
and no none of them are ever like like huge, you know what I mean?
I got
So
you. Yeah.
and then I've went with 135ers and I felt like way bigger and way stronger than them. So
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I do go 135 and just be a weight bully.
Right. 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 I like it, man. Kolby, I want to thank you for coming on here today, AFP Beyond the Cage. Much luck to your December 6th bout in AFP 104 against Trace Ricketts. And man, just keeping God first, man, and keeping that faith in the ring, you know, that's definitely can move mountains right there, man. So much success to you, and looking forward to your fight on Saturday, December 6th at AFP.
Hey, thank you for having me on. God bless. I hope you have a good day.
You too, man. Thanks. All right. As you guys heard it, we had some really great interviews today. Shout out once again to Kobe to Christian McDonald, Chance Cox. Um, we had Jordon Tague on, and Jesse Hollywood Murray. All those fighters with the exception of Chance Cox, will be at AFP 104 on December 6th. This has been Ryan James. Thanks for checking out AFP Beyond the Cage Door. You guys know what it is. AFP 104, December 6th. It's going to be some great fights. Check it out. All right, you guys be easy. Signing off. Peace.